All right, there we go. Where's that bell? New York Stock Exchange, Texas. They just opened one. That's Broad and Wall. Markets are closed. Take a look at the closing numbers, folks. Not a bad. I told you. It was going to be all about NVIDIA. They came out, they crushed the earnings. Dow up 70, NASDAQ up over 100, S&P up 20, gold up 30. Nice job. Oil still a little high. We don't like that so much. Okay, jump over to crypto, please. Bitcoin, it was up all day, and now it just kind of ended down. What happened, Bitcoin? Come on, Bitcoin, 111,000, just up all day, and then just kind of dipped right at the end. Ethereum down, XRP down. CRO, it's a new crypto we're going to be watching. CRO, and you'll understand why a little bit later in the show. CRO is up over 100% over the last 2 days. All right, I had the opportunity to speak with CEO and editor-in-chief of Just the News, No Noise, Mr. John Solomon. Very interesting. Take a listen. Good to have you back. You are a very busy man. If I can't steal, I got to steal you from Hannity these days, all the big dogs. But that's a testament to your investigative reporting. It's amazing. Tell us now, you're finding out that not only we knew about Hillary's email issues, her server that she had in her bathroom. James Comey may have some of his own email issues now?
Yeah, so this is in the documents that Kash Patel recently found and Attorney General Pam Bondi recently declassified. They've been transmitted to Congress. We have a set of them. And what they show is that in 2019, the FBI determined that in an effort to facilitate at least one leak, maybe more, James Comey's inner circle team, including his chief of staff, set up a private email account where they would forward government information into it in the furtherance of trying to leak unauthorized information, meaning information that should not be leaked to the media. They were using private email. Now, they learned about this in 19, but they were doing this back in early 2017, just a few short weeks after clearing Hillary Clinton, but also shaming her. They didn't bring criminal charges against her, but they did in fact say that she should never have used private email. And a short while later, there they are doing the exact same thing with complete impunity to the very standards that they told the American public the FBI was going to hold up to. So, remarkable story. What happens? Like everybody we know in the deep state or in the Democratic side, nobody got punished. The FBI wanted to believe they had a case against Comey and his inner circle team. They sought permission to go get the emails, and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, under Donald Trump, said, no, we're shutting it down. And they declined prosecution and wouldn't let the FBI even go look and see what was in that private email account. Now, remember what else we know in the last couple of weeks. We know that James Comey's inner circle, particularly his chief counsel, admitted that James Comey authorized the leak of classified information. FBI wasn't allowed to prosecute that. We know that a senior staffer on the Democratic side of the House Intelligence Committee said his boss, Adam Schiff, authorized the leak of classified information. No one got prosecuted there. We now know that these are just revelations just in the last 2 weeks. Just think about this trail. We now also know that Hillary Clinton's foundation, the Clinton Foundation, was investigated 4 times, 3 criminal cases by the FBI, 1 by the IRS. In all instances, the IRS and the 3 offices of the FBI were told they couldn't pursue the matter, and they were told to shut it down.
By who, John?
Those are the exact words.
By who?
In the 3 FBI cases were shut down by the Obama Justice Department. The IRS case was shut down by the Trump Justice Department under Bill Barr and Jeff Sessions. I think it was mostly Jeff Sessions at that point. Yeah.
Shocker there. Shocker there. You were scratching your head the way I was scratching my head on that. Whatever. We'll move on.
No surprise.
Do you think, and this is a little bit of a leap, less reporting, but more of an opinion, your opinion, do you think that, I remember when this was going down, at first they got Hillary, right? And it was really good for Trump. And then all of a sudden, Comey says, well, we're not going to investigate Hillary last minute, right? And that was like, the pendulum swung the other way. Support was kind of moving back towards Hillary. Do you think Comey decided not to prosecute Hillary because he would be on the hook with some emails that went back and forth between he and Hillary?
I've talked to a lot of people today who, after reading this story that we broke, said, I wonder about that. And the truth of the matter is we don't have a good understanding of it because the FBI didn't get access to the emails where they could see what was going through there. The timetable is a little bit different, right?
Dumb question. Dumb question.
Yeah, sure.
Comey's emails. Even if you lose Hillary's, was his lost as well or missing?
We don't know. There's no evidence that they even asked the question of whether James Comey had a private email account. I mean, you see how these agents keep getting thwarted. Now, maybe it's not in the documents and they did do it, but we don't see any evidence of it. And you see a lot of frustration by the agents. I want to go back to one other thing James Comey did, because a lot of people who've read the reporting the last couple of weeks have raised this really interesting question. James Comey had used the Steele Dossier in October to get his first FISA warrant, October 2016, first FISA warrant just before the election. They were spying on Carter Page and the campaign. And it's coming up for renewal in January. And between those two windows, Comey's FBI determines that Steele should be fired as a source. He was leaking. That the CIA warned the FBI that Steele's circle of sources, so to speak, were infiltrated by Russian intelligence. Therefore, it's probably bad intel. And the FBI itself did a sentence-by-sentence analysis of the dossier and concluded nearly everything in it was either demonstrably false or unprovable, meaning that there was no evidence that it actually happened. All those things happen by December, early January. And then we see this unusual dynamic of James Comey pressing John Brennan, please get the Steele Dossier in the intelligence community assessment. A lot of people that I've talked to wonder aloud, was James Comey trying to get the Steele Dossier into the CIA assessment to legitimize it so he wouldn't have to tell the FISA court that he had given them a bad piece of intelligence.
Yeah.
That is another area of active investigation right now.
They used faulty information. They called it evidence. It wasn't evidence. It was just research that was all BS, all made up. So Christopher Steele thought he could get a bigger number for what he was trying to peddle to Hillary. And John McCain, I think he's got his fingerprints on, had his fingerprints on that as well. And then Comey uses this document that he may or may not have known in October of 2016 as garbage to get this warrant against a FISA warrant to tap into the Trump Tower. They use that. Now he realizes at some point it's all BS. It's coming out, and he doesn't have the character to go back to the FISA court and say, "Listen, we used bad information here. We need," but it made him look more guilty rather than just coming clean, right?
Yeah, listen, I think there's a big question. A lot of time for a long time, we didn't understand the reason why Comey was advocating for the FISA to be in. Now we have a pretty good sense that it falls in that very window where he's facing this really difficult decision. Do I tell the truth to the FISA court and embarrass the FBI and potentially cause the end of an investigation that I want to keep going on Donald Trump? Or do I find some moral reason, and I put that in quotes, that I don't have to tell the court because, the CIA used it, so if they're using it, I don't have to tell the court. I think that is a question that needs to be resolved, and my understanding is that's one of the things that the Justice Department and FBI are looking at now. It's sort of been, when you now have this whole body of evidence, you realize that James Comey had a bigger predicament than we knew at the time. So that's going to be an avenue of investigation. Now, the good news on some of this is that some of the statute of limitations hasn't expired. On the classified leaks allegations against Comey, which occurred in October 16, we have a 10-year statute that goes to October 2026. And on Adam Schiff, on the alleged classified leaks by him or the ones he approved, they go all the way to the spring of 2027. So there is some runway and opportunity for this Justice Department to be different than Bill Barr's Justice Department, to be different than Jeff Sessions' Justice Department, to be clearly different than the Obama Justice Department. We'll see if they have the courage and the wherewithal to do it.
We would all love to see a perp walk, right? And I'm old enough to realize we're never going to see Obama perp walk. Sorry.
That's right. That's right.
Let's just be honest.
I agree with you.
But no, I got a prime, the mustache John Bolton. I mean, talk to us about how much trouble he is looking or could be in.
Listen, I think that we might want to look at the Bolton raid on his home last Friday as the test case for what potentially could be applied to Schiff and to Comey. So those alleged leaks occurred in 19, so they're 6 or 7 years out from the statute of limitations, but they're using the 10-year statute. Our argument is you go to the 10-year statute if the leak involves something of national interest, meaning it was something the government was trying to protect for good reason. If that did, in fact, happen and they bring that case, they've opened the door. Hey, we prosecuted one of our own first. James Comey and Adam Schiff, you're subjects number 2 and 3. And I think a lot of people who are watching this and even working out on the inside, they're viewing the raid on John Bolton's house as a warning sign to Comey and to Schiff that, hey, you're not out of trouble. We may come after you next.
My first show on television, my first own show on television, I co-hosted a couple of shows of 5, but my first show, I called it Follow the Money. I called it Follow the Money because it wasn't a money show. It was a politics show. When they go into raid John Bolton's home and his office, and they may find it, but when you start to follow the money, if he is bringing in a lot of money, and then you start the money trail usually leads you to nefarious things if they're going on. Do you have any insight or any thoughts on? I mean, I'm hearing crazy numbers that John Bolton was being paid as foreign agent, a foreign advisor. Yeah, there would a guy of his incredible background, right? UN ambassador, deputy national security advisor. He would have an incredible, marketable capability. We know he used to go speak at the MEK rallies in Europe, which all the speakers get paid a handsome sum. So he I'm certain, had a good, strong business. He doesn't have a lot of fair agent registration records, so he wasn't formally lobbying. But one of the things when you see someone who's as trained as John Bolton, because keep in mind, John Bolton and James Comey were in government their entire lives. They know all the proper procedures for handling classified information. And when you hear he might have emailed something to home, or James Comey was having his guy email him something to his email account, you know that they're making a conscious decision because their training and their constant reminders in government, they know what they're doing is wrong or what they've asked their subordinates to do is wrong. That becomes very powerful to a jury. And of course, the second question is, what was it that was being transmitted? Was he just trying to send it to his wife to blow the whistle? Was he trying to send it to a friend to line up a client because he knew he was about to be fired in the government? We don't know that motive, but that's what the raid in the House is designed to get. And I think that in a few weeks, you'll see grand jury activity based on what they found at the House, if they found anything of meaning. And we'll start to get answers like that. But motive is the next thing. And whenever you see classified information being transmitted by a person who knows they shouldn't do it, the first thing the government turns to is, was someone overseas or in the United States paying them? Was this a bribery for information money? We got to look at that. We don't know anything yet. Nothing that suggests that. But it goes there every time. Give you a good example. Hunter Biden saying, "Where's my money?" Remember, there was a phone call. I got my father right here. Where's the money you put? Yeah, there.
Pay up.
Follow the money. Follow the money. John Solomon, really always good to have you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.
Keep us informed of Bowling at 4.
I will. Thanks, my friend.
All right, thanks, Sean. All right, folks, we'll be back 2.5 minutes.